How's it going, everybody? This is Rival Indigo. Just wanted to make a brief little commentary video discussing some changes to my channel recently and some other things that have come up regarding social media and Twitter. So, as you know, if you've subscribed to me for a little while, although the majority of my subscribers have come more recently, I used to be known as Hands Free Entertainment. This silly name was just due to the fact that I had started recording videos with my phone in my cup holder while I drove. So recently I decided that I need something that is more relevant to the content I make and the types of communities that I, engage in. And obviously kind of a tie to my own personal gaming history, something that makes sense when it comes to everything I do on this channel. So I came up with Rival Indigo. When I did this rebranding, I also decided I probably need to have a Twitter account again. I say again because I had Twitter basically since inception, and well, not inception, about 2008. So when it started to become a thing. And multiple times I had accounts that would gain over 1,000 followers. I would talk to some influential type people that are in gaming and gaming media, other artists, developers, things like that. And then of course I spoke a lot about politics and these other things too. That was the big thing with Twitter, very free speech oriented, it felt like. Anyways, about 5 years ago, I completely wiped all of my social media. No Facebook, no Instagram, no Twitter, none of it. I was like, no, I'm done. It's toxic. And not just toxic ooh, people say mean things. I don't give a crap about that. It's toxic to your own well-being and your own psychological state. Even when you're not using social media, when you're not using Twitter, if you're not logged in, you don't have the website pulled up, you don't have the app active, it's still running in your mind. There's always this thought in the back of your mind. It's almost like a subroutine that's saying, am I getting likes? Are people responding to what I said? Did I get retweeted? Is there something I need to go see what happened on Twitter and retweet it or make a comment about it? You feel like you've got to always go and make comments about things. And this is really energy consuming. It's a brain drain, and not in a good way. The crazy part for me is being separated from this for 5 years. And I hope there's a lot more people that have done similar, but being completely separate of all this social media for 5 years really shows you just what you aren't losing by leaving social media and what you are gaining in peace of mind, mental stability, I feel like, and just your interactions with people in the real world improve. Because that is your only interactions, basically, is people in the real world, where people have actual conversations and exchanges of ideas and discuss different things. And there's also things that are just never issues in the real world. And that's what I'm kind of coming to over the last week here since I did make my Twitter account. There has been some cool things about it. I feel like I've gotten a little bit more traffic to my YouTube channel. I can put a tweet out there with a link to one of my videos and say, hey, check out my Halo Infinite multiplayer montage, and grab a few hundred more impressions and maybe an extra subscriber or two. It's nothing big, but when your channel is small, those little things have a bigger impact, in my opinion, at least until you start to get bigger, I would assume. Then it becomes more and more impactful to have social media and just spreading your brand everywhere. For a small creator, I feel like, cool, I got a few extra views on this video that may have only gotten 10, but now it's got 13, something like that. And the other part of it was just making sure that I secured that brand identity. Once I changed the name of the channel and the look, I was like, okay, I need to have a Twitter that matches that, so that when I do come around to needing it for anything, I've got it and nobody else took it. Now, setting those things aside, first of all, Twitter works a lot differently than it did 5 years ago. You have this catered feed, whereas I was accustomed, and I know you can kind of go set it to work this way, but I was accustomed to, you follow people and that's what you see. If you follow 3 people, you see only the things they tweet and retweet. and that's it. And now I guess it's just you pick a bunch of subjects. It's like you're doing like a Netflix thing or whatever, where you pick what kind of shows you like and so what it suggests to you. It's the exact same thing. It shows you a feed of curated subjects and people who are commenting on those subjects, and just a lot of things I don't really want to see. I don't care. And the other side of it is the echo chamber that is Twitter. And basically, I don't mean that, oh, it's only liberals, it's only Republicans, it's only PlayStation fans, it's only people who like these kind of movies or are on this social bandwagon, whatever it is. That's not what I'm talking about. Even when you include people from all those groups, it's still a echo chamber, because Twitter itself is this sphere or bubble universe within actual reality. And the back and forth and the what would you call it? The churning of what people say and think and do within that little sphere, it's not the same as what goes on in the real world at all. Because it's been proven that Twitter represents a very small slice of the actual demographics of the United States, of the world in general. And it's very skewed in certain directions, but beyond that, to me, it's skewed within itself. It's very inward facing. So it's been, just in the last few days, several things have gone on, several events, controversies. I just keep noticing, big and small, these things that are quote unquote happening that really aren't happening. They're only happening within the Twitter sphere. And that bothers me. Like, I knew this was going on. Like I said, having been detached from social media for like 5 years now, I knew this was going on. And you could even see it to a small degree, like in YouTube. But I feel like YouTube, for whatever reason, because people do so much that is attached to their real life, whether it's the commentary they're doing, the vlogging, or, showing video games or whatever. I don't know. I feel like YouTubing is a little different than what's going on with Twitter. So anyways, it may or may not be. That's just my perception. But I can tell you right now, somebody who has been separated from it for that long a time, it's like a massive detox from this scenario, and to be back in it, even for this brief period of time, I found myself participating in conversations and controversies and like feeling the need to comment on things, and it's like your mind starts to race. And I feel like people who have maintained this position in social media or Twitter for all this time and never detached from it, I go, holy crap, this is what they're experiencing nonstop and they don't even know it. Like, your mind feels like a computer that has a virus running in the background that's absorbing your like RAM and its processing power, basically. And then your brain is like, say you're sitting there using the computer and trying to do things, and you can't figure out why it's not running as quickly and as efficiently as it should be. That's what it feels like. That's the best way I can describe it. It feels like there's this constant subroutine that's distracting from your mental power or your ability to relax your mind when you don't need mental power, so that when you do, you're ready to go again. It's like just this additional stressor in the background, and it's a stressor over stupid stuff, whether it's like controversies or simple just the need to comment on things and get likes and retweets. It's insane. Like, I've known this. This is what I'm saying. I've known this forever, but it's a whole other thing to have been completely isolated from it for this many years, and then like step back into it and go, oh my god, what's happening? I don't understand. So anyways, all this is just to conclude, I think in the end, I'm definitely going to keep my Twitter. I need to maintain it for my YouTube. I want to grow this and eventually build it into something a little bit bigger and make some more out of it. But I don't really think I'll be participating in the Twitter community in the traditional sense. I will probably just be using it as a way to put out links, you know, and say, hey, check this out, this is what I made, or, you know, what did you think of this, or whatever. Just my YouTube videos and content will be put out there. And then occasionally like post something like a screenshot from a video game, like if I'm playing No Man's Sky, or maybe a clip from Halo or something like that, just to be like, you know, draw people in a little bit. And then maybe they go and they look at the rest of my profile and click on something that leads to my YouTube channel. But that's really what it needs to be, is just a utility on the side of my content creation, because content creation has been great for me. YouTubing has been awesome. It's been a very fun, creative outlet that, aside from my work and real life and gaming and all these other things that go on in the real world, I can turn around and use my creative abilities in a lot of ways that I never knew I wanted to, because I always wanted to be a writer, and then there was times where I wanted to be an artist, but I didn't have the talent. Well, now I've figured out, hey, I can across multiple pieces of media assemble really cool content and in a form of expression. I have to do audio editing and creation. I have to create either gameplay clips, you know, that I have to put together and edit into a video that makes sense, or make commentary on, so I'm expressing my viewpoints and stuff. Or I have to do something like an unboxing, or show collectibles and say what I think about that, or tell about my experience in finding it, whatever. But it is a very nice creative outlet to, you know, expend some energy in a way that I feel like produces something that I can be proud of. Like my recent Halo Infinite montage, that thing, I'm very proud of it. The editing, the work I did for creating the little animations that go onto my videos, just everything about the production of that video, I was like, this was awesome. And I've rewatched it a few times just because I'm like, I made this. This is cool, you know? I can't say that about anything that happens on Twitter. You know, you're just spouting things off. I'm disappointed in myself, because as soon as I started seeing things that I just had to comment on, I had to say something about that. And I started having to tell myself, just stop. There's no point. This literally affects nothing, because you can have like the best point, you can have the facts on your side, you can have whatever you want to express, and it really does not change anything when it comes to Twitter. Because Twitter is, like I said, very inward facing. Everybody wants to just shout, like it's like you're standing in a circle shouting at the person across from you, and then everybody is shouting across you, shouting at the person across from you, and you're hearing this guy over here to your right, and you're like, oh, I've got to respond to what he's saying to that guy. I don't think that was very cool. Or, you know what, I agree with this person over here, so I'm going to turn to the person on my side and tell them how right the other person was. That's Twitter. And so you don't really create anything that's of use, and it doesn't get anywhere, because everybody's just shouting inwardly at each other. So anyways, this video is getting a little longer than I expected it to. If you've watched this point, I appreciate it. I thank you for listening to what I have to say. There's many things that are going to continue to grow and change about my channel as I explore new options for what kind of content I want to make and then how I make it. But for the most part, I'm going to stick to things that make me happy, that I enjoy, and that I think that people will want to share with me. So thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next video.